feeling like I'm Akademiks. Can't ride no wave.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get on some federal shit. So we're back on the LA Fed sweep, and essentially, you know, this shit's still happening. People are anticipating what's going to be called a superseding indictment that's going to appear shortly. That's going to detail maybe even more crimes or more significant charges for the likes of Bricc Baby, Luce Cannon, and of course the guy who they place at the top, Big U. Again, I've said this. I hope, you know, in the interest of me, and people usually accuse me of not doing this, but I don't want black men to be like literally signing themselves up for jail with their own stupidity. I hope LA podcasting changes. I get it. Y'all are all gang affiliated for the most part, and y'all love being on there talking about DPs and all type of fuckery and all type of politics and what words offend y'all. But please keep that shit in the streets, okay? The kids that are watching you and the people that are watching you are entertained by your foolery and coonery, but they're even more amused by your indictment. And the reality of it is, you know, if you got a job, whether you get employed by No Jumper or whoever else, that little 100,000, actually, he's not paying y'all 100,000. You're gonna have to pay 150,000 for a RICO. That's a going price for a RICO these days with a good lawyer or a decent lawyer. So again, what are you doing it for? So I hope LA podcasting realizes that, listen, this gang culture, y'all have now became the sacrificial lamb of what people thought Chicago was. And I'm not saying this with trying to be on a soapbox, but I hold no blame and no guilt towards Adam 22 or even of Vlad TV. The podcasters are creating their own podcasts. They're going on Clubhouses. They're dying to tell people what they've done, what gang they're in. They argue all day in a violent, threatening sense, throwing up all these sets, basically affirming that they're still active. They have done crimes, and they think because it might be a year or two removed, they're absolved. All while, this is how it works in a RICO. You may have stopped doing crime, but you're still claiming a gang, and other niggas in the gang are doing crimes, which means you're basically doing, hold up. Let's see. Which means you're basically like setting yourself up. So please, you know, with all due respect, LA showed me so much love. I love you guys in LA. But the gang podcasting has got to stop. Like, you know what I mean? Again, for a long time I was watching LA gang podcasts happen, and I'm like, I thought it was completely fake. I thought everybody was lying, because to me it didn't make sense that only in LA podcasting there is all these arguments all the time. LA ain't that damn big. And there's not one fade caught yet. We don't know one fade that's ever been caught, ever. And there's a few fades that were caught, but supposedly they were fictional. It's impossible. Chicago don't move like that, niggas get shot. Jacksonville don't move like that, niggas die. Memphis, them niggas, they keep it in the music and in the streets. Even Atlanta, you ain't gonna see it, niggas just get knocked off. LA is the only place when they got a beef, they tie their red rag, their blue rag real tight around their neck, and they pick up a podcast mic to tell their crimes. It's crazy, and I want y'all to stop. This indictment should be a wake-up call. Please stop self-snitching. Now, if you don't stop self-snitching, I'm going to still sit here and be thoroughly entertained, and I'll wait for the next indictment. Anyway. Did y'all see this shit, yeah? This is crazy. Now, let me tell you how much podcasting became so much of this, you know, beef ecosystem in this podcast, in the West Coast podcasting games, right? Check this out, chat. For example, and again, I'm not putting out nothing that's not already out there. I don't want nobody to call me the feds. Again, my new thing, I keep telling y'all, I said to Meek Mill, y'all are the stupid niggas. Meek Mill said that it's the blogs and it's the people like Akademiks that sending street dudes to jail. No, it's not, my guy. If you are a street nigga, why would you take up a job as a podcaster? If all you could provide insight on is street shit and crimes. We're going to have to be accountable. Meek Mill, we all know, the only nigga that has recorded a negative IQ. He literally was saying that it's people like me that send people like him to jail, but the last time he got sent to jail over popping a wheelie, he posted the crime to Twitter himself. I had to show him the proof. The police, he did a wheelie. The police showed up. He was not there. He was not on the scene. The police, through their investigation, seen Meek Mill post a video at the same location that matched the same time, and then went and locked him up. He posted his own evidence for him to get locked up. He don't take accountability of posting it. He take accountability. No, he blames the blogs who reposted it. No. Again, I've one of my old models from when I used to do, the War in Chirac, but really I had a Crimes Fail channel. I always said, if not for the crime, some niggas need to be locked up for their stupidity. If not for the crime, take him for the stupidity. So this is really my call. This is me begging and pleading. I think I like Luce Cannon. I like Bricc Baby. I don't know Big U. But I watch with LA podcasters. All y'all do is put shit on your dead homies, on your gang. Y'all tell about who ran down on who upped it on who. Then y'all basically think y'all speaking in hieroglyphics, but you basically co-sign who got shot or who killed who. And all I'm saying is, please stop picking up. If you're gonna pick up a podcast mic, just pick up a pen and a pad and just go down there to interrogation room. Enough is enough. All right. Now, again, when this podcast environment of the LA has gotten so bad that I thought this was utterly ridiculous. So apparently, this is Bricc Baby over here on the right. This is Luce Cannon on the left. They were beefing, threatening each other, claiming when they saw each other, they were going to do A, B, C, and D to each other. Eventually, of course, the beef didn't culminate with a squabble up, as Kendrick would like to say. It wasn't I need to get that head up or fade. None of that. It culminated with a podcast episode on No Jumper. Okay? That's it. That's another reason I thought all this shit was fake. I'm like, everybody's playing a role, right? Because there's no way y'all are claiming when y'all see each other, y'all going to do A, B, C, and D. You're going to do whatever. And all this is being ended with podcasting. Well, this is why the feds love it. Because here's the thing, Bricc Baby, who's a felon. Number one, the beef he had with this Luce Cannon guy is real. Rather than not exploit it via online, rather than staying away from or talking to your employer, Adam 22, to say, hey, listen, it's a real situation. I don't want to exploit it. People could die. People could also go to jail. I work for you and you're my friend. Could you please, let's keep this off of here. Let's keep the streets in the streets. This shit culminated with a podcast episode. They're sitting across from each other. And to the point where the tensions are so high that Bricc Baby, who now we know is a felon, was actually carrying a firearm on his waist while he's doing a podcast. Now, this video now came out, or people point out the fact that he's carrying a firearm, where they're saying, check this out. This was 16 hours before he was picked up by the feds. So LA podcasting has gotten to the point where it's like, let's meet with our op in a podcast room and have weapons that we shouldn't have while the camera's filming, while we're making subliminal threats and having passive-aggressive energy, okay? All while the feds are kicking their feet up and they're laughing, saying, ain't no fucking way. Keep in mind, Lil Boosie got charged for being on live with what looked like a gun in his waist. These guys are popping up to podcasts with the weapon. Just check this out.
Think about trying to do nothing to me after this podcast because I got a gun.
Whose voice is this?
Gun on me. That's what I heard. And so in this next clip, we're going to actually see the gun. We're going to see Slam. He's going to show it. He's going to lean back, purposefully showing the butt of the Slam to Luce Cannon.
Oh, M95 for show.
All right, M30, either one.
Boom. What about both?
By the way, I like both guys as well. Like, I don't want to act like I'm speaking down on them. I really like both guys. Luce Cannon, I really think he's hilarious. But again, I don't want to act like I'm speaking down the LA region. I think there's so many talent. Like, for example, AD. I think AD is a talented person at communicating and giving his opinion. It doesn't always have to be about street shit. I think he could talk about other things, whether it's social issues or whether it's just music. You get what I'm saying? Like, street guys, I'm not telling you not to get in podcasting, but just don't go to podcasting to talk about street shit. That's the only thing I'm saying. Again, I think Whack 100 is probably one of the only people who I could say is really a shrewd, above the shoulders thinker that is navigating this shit very well. We've never heard Whack really just say some incriminating shit about himself. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he's also like very cautious and aware, because if these guys got picked up, I would imagine that they're looking into Whack as well, right? Like, let's be honest, right?
Oh, shout out again to our boys over at Fried, because
they definitely dictated the stream.
The gummies did their thingy thing. That's a fact. We had some.
Okay. And if you got to do a podcast with a nigga you claim you don't like, that you have to have your gun in your waist, please, brother, don't do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. And this is not an LA thing. This is nothing. It's everywhere. If, you know, if your issues, like your street issues, shouldn't be solved on a podcast. It should be solved in private. And if y'all want to go fight and do whatever, go do it. But don't do it with like the best cameras in the world. And again, I'm going to be very honest. Truthfully, I'm going to be very honest. Again, I haven't asked Adam, but I was listening to Whack today. He was on Clubhouse and he was like, they were, you know, him and like, you know, he got like 1 million spies. And they were saying, why do you think, because they already had the indictment, why didn't they raid No Jumper? I have a theory about that. And this is for Adam, I would imagine. Again, I got nothing against Adam. Adam's my guy. If the feds don't subpoena surveillance footage from Adam's warehouse where he shoots No Jumper, where maybe they could add more charges like, wait, do we see Bricc Baby having a gun in his hand? Do we see these gang members doing things that we could add to an indictment? Listen, the feds aren't stupid. A simple indictment subpoena could get that from No Jumper, or at least attempt to. If they don't do that, it leads me to what Whack said. Well, what the other person asked Whack, why didn't they, if both guys get locked up, why didn't they just raid No Jumper and lock him up? The next thing it leads, so here's the other part. If they don't subpoena no footage, security footage from Adams, from the No Jumper warehouse, it's only because the feds look at that as an asset. Remember I told you. Because you know why you don't lock up these two niggas there and kick the door down at No Jumper? Because you spooked the niggas at No Jumper. And if you're looking at No Jumper as the place where gang members come to tell on themselves, you don't want to spook No Jumper. No Jumper, again, I'm not saying No Jumper is working with the feds. Not saying that at all. But No Jumper becomes the place where the feds are saying, this is a safe haven for the gang members to confess. We're not going to spook them. They're going to stop. So I would believe the feds would probably weigh this and say, we're not going to raid No Jumper. We'll catch these niggas somewhere else. They might not even subpoena No Jumper. You know why? Because anything legal I would spook anybody. Oh, shit, what the fuck? Oh, they want the surveillance video of the last 30 days of what we've been doing in here? And that's a place that gang members frequently come in and out of? So I personally believe that the feds look at No Jumper as a bed and a haven for suspected criminals and gang members to confess. It's a hot-boxed 4K camera podcast confessional room, and they're not going to fuck that up. Keep telling all yourselves, if you ask me. Could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Good, fun, good, clean fun.
Are y'all noticing the patterns?
Okay.
Like,
I believe that you're the
no.
Yeah.
Okay, so not the best thing. Okay, so before the interview, he sent a warrant to Bricc.
Buster, why are you sitting there lying and trying to put it on Adam? So listen, let's check this out. So instead of you waiting across the street or waiting in a parking lot, you leave with people that said it's mandatory phase with me? You know how I come.
Pause.
Stop acting like that. Use a buster. Use a sweetie pod.
Sweetie!
But you go 2 hours away on Cam Capone. The same day, me and Wack supposed to sit down with you and had an interview. Oh, and you just come up with this whole entire narrative. Oh, sweetheart, you can't change it. Use a mark. You didn't want to fight. You didn't want to sit across.
Okay.